All right, we just spent time talking about these books, Subliminal, Power of Habit, Thinking Fast and Slow, and this helps set the framework, at least part of it, for what we're going to be covering now is the Sales Call Rubric. And we use this with sales teams in every kind of industry, helping them build a better process. Now, if you like this series, if you like what we're covering here, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things that YouTube lets you do, and then put your comments below about how you're applying this, how this works, and if there's other things you'd like me to cover that I can help you to improve your sales process. So let's dive into the Sales Call Rubric. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is what I call a Sales Call Rubric, and this really reinforces everything that we're doing in all of these psychology books, understanding the human dynamic and understanding how to build a process and the reward, the cue routine rewards, all the stuff we talked about. Originally, I built this, when was it? 2015, and I built it into an Excel spreadsheet because I was trying to figure out what are the consistent things that I want to see in a sales call, not necessarily as a script, but how to be able to identify what's working and what's not. So I'm going to show you the original version here. This I did in Excel, and what this was geared towards is to give ourselves a rating from 1 to 10 in these 6 areas. And the key to this is you're never really going to have a perfect score. Every sales call is going to be a bit different, and not every one of these is going to be weighted the same way. You're not going to get through all of this stuff. I think a lot of people try and get through their script because they want to make sure they finish all the things. But if you look at these 6 areas, I'm going to actually show you in the newer version. Ooh, look at this. So this was a little bit more designed. It's nicer. But if you look at this, the 6 areas are the opening or the energy of your call, the way you ask questions, the type of questions you ask, the connection, the rapport, insights that you share, and how we ask for commitment, and the state of flow that we get ourselves in. And when we look at that, the thing I think that's important is not how much you spend on each one of those, but how you utilize each of these. If you think about the energy of your call, the opening, how well do you set the tone? How well do you use that powerful belief? How well do you create intention and excitement and urgency in what you're doing as part of who you are when you're selling, right? And we rank ourselves, whether it's our low energy, some energy, excellent energy, and how well do we attract people to us by who we are and what we believe. So that is something that, we can really set the tone and create a solid frame and anchor our conversation, right? The next one is the kinds of questions. We talk about this a lot when we go into the spin selling training. Do we look for opportunities to question and dig deeper? Do we use questions as a way to help cognitively reframe, help somebody cognitively reframe what's going on in their world so they start to see that sales moment, that future regret in a different way, so that we use the questions. We don't have to go crazy deep, but we have to pay attention and help people see what we see and transfer that belief to them. And on the connection and the rapport, this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, is that they think it's very similar for everybody. But if you think about the way humans work, is everybody kind of, if you take these like psychology studies or personality tests, everybody sort of falls in a quadrant. So if you fall in some kind of quadrant, that means you're probably like other people 25 to 50% of the time. So what I want you to think about is how quickly you can build trust, build credibility, build connection and rapport with people, especially if they aren't like you. So that's really where it comes to paying attention, enthusiasm, and matching and mirroring and doing things subconsciously that help people connect with you rather than trying to get them on the same side as you. So that's a really key thing we look for in our calls is, are we building rapport in only the way that we know how? The next one is when we share insights versus just sharing information, showing this, the big thing on the bottom here is how your value is either not apparent, noticeable, or very apparent. And the way we do this is the way that we connect what they're saying to ideas, to aha moments, to that future pacing, creating ownership, creating value in their mind, not so much what we want. If you're just somebody who's sharing ideas and information, but not connecting it to an emotion or an aha, you run the risk of not being seen as an important part of the conversation. Your value diminishes and you could just be an order taker. So this is how we're really trying to move you from an order taker to a highly polished professional. Commitment requests, the biggest thing with this is that there's a difference, I say, between asking for a commitment with a question mark or with an exclamation mark. And the difference is our energy. If I believe somebody should do something, if I'm going to ask them the question, it's going to be leaning forward. Oh man, are you ready to do this? It comes through with an exclamation mark, not, well, what do you think? There's a big difference. So you have to viscerally believe that this is something that's going to help them. If you don't, you need to take some time, step back, and understand your beliefs before you try and transfer them to somebody else. Commitment request is very powerful. And that's why I say all of these areas don't all happen in a very specific order. But if you blow all of these 4 things here, but you're able to ask for commitment with authority and energy and enthusiasm, you can bypass a lot of the stuff that you might have missed or skipped steps. You might have missed some questions. You might not have had rapport, but if you totally believe they should do something, how you ask changes the game. And the last thing, flow, is, as we talked about in some of these books, is the system 1 and 2 thinking. Can you get into a state of flow so that it's not like when you're walking down the street and you go this way, they go that way, you go, oh, it's weird, right? So this is how we avoid being a weirdo and become more of a sales human and get our subconscious and our conscious working in concert together. And like I said, I want you to rate yourself after each caller as you're going through. Identify areas that you might be missing an opportunity to go through and find those cues. Find those rewards and build a better routine. And the second page on this talks about some of the section notes on here, the psychology around it, and you can use this. And this is something that I offer for sale on my website, but you're getting it for free in the link below because you can use this in your next sales calls and with your teams. So I hope this all helps. This is helping you really understand the power of psychology, the power of subconscious behavior, why our habits make sense, how we can start to take control over the way that we exist, the way we help our clients, and the way we serve, and the way we influence and get results for our company, for our business, and for ourselves. So if that makes sense, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got lots of stuff like this coming. Make sure you put comments below on how you're using this or questions that you have. I'm trying to stay really engaged in that comment section to help you solve these problems in your sales, in your small business. So I hope this helps. See you next time. Hey, this is Joe Girard with Change Your Own Chief. Thanks for checking this out. Remember to subscribe and check out some of the other videos and resources we have. You know, as a sales coach, I spend a lot of my time just helping people be less weird and more human with their customers. If we can help you and your high-performing team, reach out to us, let us know, and let's connect soon.